Hey, this is Shem Phillips. I am the designer of this lovely new game coming out soon called Shelfie Stacker, being put on Kickstarter very shortly by Arkus Games, who are a new publishing company based out of Wellington, New Zealand, who have a huge focus on aesthetics and design and just creating really fun experiences at the table. So this is a game that I pitched to them last year, and when I brought it to them it was a very different looking game. The theme I had was very kind of medieval building a fort type game, and if you've seen my designer diaries on Board Game Geek, you'll see how we kind of progress the game from that medieval building setting into like a grandstand setting, then finally into this Shelfie Stacker setting, which is really fun. It's quite funny. It's all about putting these dice which represent groups of games onto your board game shelf, which I'm sure we can all relate to. So what I'm going to do today is just play a solo game, so you can kind of see how the mechanisms work. The multiplayer is very similar, except that obviously each player is working on their own shelf, whereas in the solo mode you're just competing against your high score or a certain threshold of scores, and the AI is just going to be flipping a card and potentially deny me the dice I actually want. In multiplayer there are three different types of scoring cards. There's one which is for the player with the most dice, which can get passed around throughout the game. Obviously doesn't work in solo, and the other one is about building a pattern, which is a bit too easy in solo. So for solo mode we have two of these scoring cards, usually only one of them, but this one here, I'll get 6 points at the end of the game if I have 8 dice, or 8 or more dice of one colour in my shelf. This one here, I'll get 3 points for each 3 valued die in my shelf. And you can see here the dice are kind of abstracted to look like boxes on a shelf, so this represents 3. Cool, there's 4 colours of dice, and with less players you just remove a certain number of dice from the game. So there's always the same kind of balance. I have my main shelf, which is my kind of Kalax looking shelf, and it's my shelf of shame, the ugly looking thing that I don't really want to put games on. I'll lose points if I put them in there, but sometimes you have to. I have a hand of 8 characters, lovely looking characters, even a cat, and these cards are going to do a few things. Each round I'm going to choose one. In the multiplayer everyone would put one face down and reveal, but in solo obviously you don't have to hide what you're doing. I'm going to choose one of these cards. The number at the top is going to determine the initiative for the round, so the lower number goes first. If there's a tie, they'll be broken by these little tiebreakers down the bottom. The A will be A, B, C, D, and they're balanced throughout each deck. The AI is going to flip a card after I choose mine, and if they go before me, if they've got a lower number, this is going to show which of these 3 dice piles they want. So they want to get the middle one first, which is number 1. If I've already taken that and they go after me, they'll remove the second one, which means those dice actually get removed from the game. The other ones that don't get chosen, just like in the standard game, multiplayer game, will get put back into the bag, so they come back out in the game. So I'm just going to get stuck straight into it. I'll get these dice ready, and I'm going to start by first, each round, there's only 7 rounds, so you've got 8 cards, you always have 1 card left over. The first thing each round that you want to do is look at the dice that are available and then determine what power you might want to have. These cards each have a power, which we'll go over soon, and how badly you want to go first, based on the dice that are available. For example, this one's quite bad. What you do when you place your dice, you want to have lower numbers and then ascending order going up to high numbers. So a 3, a 4 and a 5 isn't the best kind of dice to get the start. 6s are wild, so there's a 6 orange, so I could change it to any value I want, so they're good all round. 3 and a 4, another 4 and a 5 and a 1. So these dice aren't actually the best at the start of the game. You want lower numbers generally. So going first or second for me in this particular situation isn't really too much of a big deal, but maybe the power might help me. So I could store a dice for future rounds. I could decrease the value of a die, could be useful. I could flip a die. which, well, that would make that into a 3. So I'd have 2 3s, which is good for this. And the 6 could be wild, could make it a 1. It's not bad. Increase the die. I could swap 2 dice. That's not bad. So I could actually swap this 1 with that 4. That's a high number 2, which isn't too bad. To switch the values of 2 dice, probably not ideal. Alright, that's what I'll do. I'm going to play this card here, the Conquista. And if I use this ability, which I can use at any point throughout the game, but doesn't have to be in this round, I'll be able to swap 2 dice when I take my dice. So I'm going to play this. There's a high number, so I may end up going second. This may not work for me, but usually what you do in the multiplayer game, you'll put this above your player board, and everyone reveals. So I'm going to do this one, and I haven't actually shuffled this too well. The AI has the exact same set of cards that I have, with the difference of the tiebreakers. But I'm going to reveal. They have a 1, so they're going first. And this little thing here says that they want to take the left pile of dice, which is not good for me because I wanted that 1. So they're taking these out of the game. They're going away. And now it'll be my turn. So all I can do is swap. Well, I could swap this 3 with that 3 maybe. I definitely want this star box because it's got a 6, which is good. I can change it to a 1. What I might do is I might actually use my Conquista. So whenever you use one, you could just tap it, you could flip it over, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to move it down here off screen a bit so it's not still there. Actually, no, I don't need to. I'm just going to flip it over. There is a card which you can use which lets you reuse a card, but I'm not actually using that card in this playthrough, so it doesn't matter. Face down is fine. Alright, so I'm going to swap out this 3 for this 3 using the Conquista's power. I'm going to take this box of dice. Now, this in usual multiplayer, everyone would just take their dice, take a box, and the next player takes their box. And as soon as you take your box, you can begin filling your shelves. There's no need to wait for the players. So I'm going to make this 3 go here. The 4 is going on top, so you always have to increase in value. And then the 6, I'm going to change that into a 1 because 6 are wilds, and put that there. And that would be the end of the round. These dice that are left over will go back in the bag. Everyone returns their boxes, and then we get 3 new dice for the next round. So each round's pretty quick, and it's fairly simultaneous between players. So they don't usually get bogged down with the more players you have. It's just more people making decisions. Alright, this is a good one. Got 2 1s on it, and a 6. I can make them all 1s basically, which is great. 2 5s is very good. This one's not too good either, though I could increase that to a 5 for the 4 if I have the right card. Although, like, using your cards up early isn't always the best move because you want to use them towards the end of the game. So I really want this. I know they've played their 1, so I can beat them on the 1 if I use my 1. However, I've also got the 2, which I would break a tie against a 2 as well. So I might want to save my 1. Well, actually, these are basically just as good as each other, really. The one lets you store a die which you could return later, so I could save a die and then in a later round bring it back. The Neat Freak lets me return one from my main shelf to my box for that round, so I can instead take this off, put one down. I'm going to play my 1. I'm going to play my Bad Lender, and the bit of this one says that I can store 1 dice on this travel case and return this box to your box at any time. So it's like a little saving spot. So I'm going to play that down. The bot is going to play their 10, which they'll go second. So I get first picks. I'm going to take this box of dice, and the AI is going to remove, they wanted to remove the ones that I had, but they can't because they're gone, so they're going to remove their second option. So these dice are going away, and I'm going to place these. So I'm going to make these ones there, and I'm going to change, I could either change this to a 1 orange, or I could change it to a 2 orange. It might actually be better to make it a 2, that way this one isn't, the colour isn't locked. So I could put a green dice, which would be quite good. Alright, so I'll change this to a 2 and put it above my 1. And this power I'm not going to use, but it'll remain until I use it at some point in the game. Alright, round 3, these dice go back. And there's things that I haven't explained about how scoring works, but I'll go over that at the end. Just know that you're trying to fill up as many dice as you can. You're going to get 21 dice over the course of the game. You want to try and fill your main shelf with avoiding them going in your shelf of shame. Alright, so what have we got? 3, 4 and orange is good, and the 6 is a wild. That's actually a really good pile for me. This was not too bad, but the 1, I wouldn't be able to place the 1, as I could flip it or something, or re-roll it. This is also very good. So these are both really good piles. This one I can place a 2, the 6 could become a 3, the 6 could become a 3. So either of these are actually really good for me. That one's probably slightly better. So I don't necessarily need to go first. So this is when you might want to play a card that's like a higher value, because in general the high values have better powers. So the Math Trader lets me switch the values of 2 dice. The Dice Chucker lets me re-roll any number of dice in my box. Bit of a risky one though. I quite like the Bargain Hunter, who lets you flip a die. That could be really useful later in the game. So I'm going to play that now. Play it down in front of me and reveal the AI. Also played the Bargain Hunter. They have an A, so they're going first before me. I've got a B. So they're going to remove this pile. So I will take my second option. These ones. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make that 3 go here. Going to make my 4 go here, and I'm going to make the 6 into a 1. Start my green column. Alright, these dice go back. It's around 4. So you don't need to roll these dice, really, just drop them down without trying to manipulate them. Alright, what have I got now? I definitely don't want the 1 orange. A 5 orange is quite good. 3, yeah, it's not too bad. And this one, not ideal because the 5 is so high, but it's not too bad. What have I got? I could flip, and the 5 becomes a 2. Actually, I could flip the 1 into a 6. So all these are actually quite usable currently. That's probably the worst one for me. Although I could save that purple 5 on my bad lender, hoping that I can put this purple and then put it at the top, or near the top. So going first isn't really a big thing for me at this point. So what are the powers might I want to have? Decrease the value of 1 dice in your shelf currently, or on your in your box as well actually, so you can reduce one of these numbers. Increase the value could be useful. You can also, if you can ever make a die into a 6, it becomes a wild. So if I say took this 5 orange and use the Upgrade Alex ability, increase that 5 to a 6, now that 6 is a wild, I can then change it to anything. So that can be useful as well. Switch the values, that can be kind of useful. Means I could make this orange into a 6, this purple into a 1. Maybe not. I kind of want to save my 2 and my 3 towards the end of the game, so I know I can beat the AI. Maybe, yeah, I might play the Math Trader. So he lets me swap the values between 2 dice basically in my box. He's a 11, so I'm probably going to go second, but it's not too much of an issue for me right now. So I'll play this one down. AI is playing their 2, which is good for me because I know they've played their 1 and their 2. They are removing the center box, and now I get to make my choice. So this one was the worst one, I think. This one here I could place the 3. The 1 I could flip to a 6, and then obviously the 6 could become a 2. I can change the values between 2. That could be useful. I could switch this blue could become a 5, which would make the purple a 6, which is basically a wild. But if I don't have to use these, that might be better. Tricky. Yeah, I might actually use the Math Trader because I find like the Bargain Hunter is a bit more useful sometimes. So if I use the Bargain Hunter, the Math Trader, I can change the values between 2 dice. So what I'm going to do, I've got a 5 and a 6. Is it the most useful one? Yeah, I think it is. So I make these two are going to swap their values. This becomes a 6, this becomes a 5. Just take that first. So I'm using that card. Put my 5 valued blue above my 4. Put my 2 purple here. And I'm going to change this 6, because it's a wild, into a 3. Putting that there. Cool. And then put these dice back. Alright. What have we got? Like 2 rounds left, I think? 2 rounds left. 3 rounds left. Alright, here we go. So I've got no dice in my Shelf of Shame yet, which is good. Each die that's in there makes me lose 2 points, which is not good. Alright, so what have we got? That's not too bad. I want to increase that to a 4, which I could do with my Upgrade Addict. I could flip that to a 5, but it's not the best. This one, yeah, again isn't the best. This is one I really want actually. 3 can go there. I can increase, if I have the right card, I can increase that to a 4. Put the 6 on the top, which is really good. You always score points equal to the pips on your top die, so a 6 on top is 6 points, which is good. That would mean playing my Upgrade Addict, which would mean I can increase that. What one was it? And increase the 3 to a 4. I can also flip it with my Bargain Hunter, but a 3 to a 4 is not always a good move. Like a 1 to a 6 is so much better. If I play this, the AI's already played their 1 and the 2, but they haven't played their 3. I've got a B, so they may have an A, but I'm going to risk it. So I'm going to play the Upgrade Addict, 3, and the AI is playing their 5. So they're going after me. So I'm going to take the dice I already wanted, and the AI is removing the ones in the middle. Alright, so I'm going to use my Upgrade Addict straight away, and that lets me increase the value of 1 die, either in my box or in my main shelf. You always have to follow keep the rules as they are, that you can't change things that can't be changed. So this 3 is becoming a 4. Oops. Go in there. Don't think I want to use anything else. Nah. So we'll put that there, and I'm going to put the 6 on the top. So you can leave it as a 6. Just going over these endgame green cards again. I want 3s. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good. If I can get another one, that's great. That's 15 points. I want to get 8 of one colour. My only chance of that is getting the blues. So, which I may not get. I need 4 more blue dice. That can be quite hard. Alright, so next round. These go back. 2 rounds left. Come on, those blue dice now. Because that's a 6 points. Oh, that's good. 4 and a 5. Oh, the 2's not good. Don't want orange dice now. I do have the Neat Freak though. The Neat Freak lets you return a dice from your shelf to your box. And it was anytime you manipulate dice in your shelf, they have to come from the top. So that could let me pull out this blue, because it's the top in that column, to my box, which I can then manipulate however I want. That means I could put like greens or oranges in here, or purple, if I wanted to. What else can I do? Decrease the value. Well, I could actually, if I did use the Neat Freak, I could pull this 3 out, put this 2 in, and put the 3 back above it. Put the 4 and the 5. That's not a bad idea. Or I could always just risk it with a roll and roll all these dice. I know I don't want this because it's got an orange. I can, in theory, probably place these if I manipulate them the right way. Oh yeah, man. Even actually that one, or that one. I could decrease. You know what I could do? If I managed to get this one, I could decrease this to I'll flip this to a 2, put it in here, decrease this to a 3, put it there. But then I'm stuck with the 2 green, which I could put here. That might be a good idea, because then I could actually, oh yeah, I'm going to do that. Right, so I'm going to play this. So the cat would let me decrease a value. So I'm going to play the cat. Hopefully the AI doesn't ruin me on this. Here we go. Alright, they're playing their 3, so they're going first, and they are removing the ones I wanted. Oh, that's not good. Alright, so they're removing these ones. Oh no. Alright, what have I got left? Okay, so I can decrease, I can flip, I can save. I don't want that. Don't think I want that. No, I don't really want that. So with this one, what could I do? I could just still decrease this to a 2 and put that 3 on top. Then I've got the 6, which I could change to a 4. That's actually kind of good. And then with the 4 blue, flip it to a 3, which is good for the points, I guess. Or I could just save it for later. I think one round after this. Could be worthwhile just saving. Alright, so I'm going to use my cat to decrease. So this lets me decrease the value of one die in my box or shelf. So I'm going to decrease this 3 to a 2. Then I'm going to put this 3 here, change this 6. Oh. Second last round. So if I change to a 4, it's 4 points. So I leave it as a 6. It's 2 more points. But then I might get a... No, I'll change it to a 4. I think, or a 5. No, it's probably best to make it a 4, just in case. It's tough, I don't know. Alright, I'll keep it as a 4. Although I really want 2 more blues next round. Nah. Keep my options open. And this one, if I flipped it, it becomes a 3. I could save it, or I could just put it in there. Having that next round will be so valuable though. I've always got my big risk at one next round just to re-roll everything. Because I need very specific dice now for the next round. Oh, it's tough. Yeah, I think it's best just to save the dice. I'll save it, so it goes in my travel case. So this, I can return this next round to my box if I want to. I could just leave it here the whole game if I actually don't want it. Alright, it may not be the best move, but I'm going to run with it. Here we go, last round. So, hopefully lots of blue dice that I can actually place. Nope. Oh, that's really good, except for the orange, but that's not too bad. And lots of greens. Okay. Oh man. That's not enough greens though, and that's not enough blue, so I'm actually not going to score this, sadly. It's got 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's no way I can score that. So I could potentially use my 2 to pull this 1 out. Put pretty much all these in here with other abilities. Or I could just take that 1 and then the... Oh, and then put the 4 on top. That's not bad. And then I just have to put the orange into waste. What else can I do? That's really not good for me except for the 5. That one could be good. Getting that 6 on top would be really good. I'd have to manipulate one of the 4s into a 3. Which isn't bad. Using that one. Which is good because it's another 3. So maybe I'll do that. So I don't know if I actually need these abilities. No, I do. I need this one. So I'm going to play this. I think I'm guaranteed to go first this round because he's played his 2 and 1. Yes, he's got the 11. So nope. Alright, so I am taking these dice. Yeah, AI would remove these ones. Alright, so I'm going to use my Neat Freak. Oh, I've also got the 4 there. Oh, so fine. That's fine, I think. Yep, so I'm going to return this to my box. So that one gets used. Alright, now I've got this available. The 6 is definitely going on top, because that's a lot of points. I'm going to use my Bargain Hunter to flip one of these green 4s to a 3, which is an extra 3 points for the scoring card. Then put the 4 on top. And sadly, this one can stay here, which is good. I can't manipulate this into like a 6 blue. Would have been amazing, but I can't. So that has to go into my Shelf of Shame. Embarrassing. And that would be the end of the game. Alright, so how does scoring work? I have 1 card left. In the multiplayer game, if there's a tie for most points, your last card will determine. So whoever's got the lowest value card will win, because they've used their higher value cards, which means they've gone later in general. Right, so we've got this nice handy dandy scoring card, and this gets placed alongside your little board here, and what this tells you is that these first three rows tells you every column that ends in the top is worth 6 points. These ones are all worth 3 points, these ones are worth 1, and these bottom ones don't score anything extra. Then it tells you that you add up your top pips on all your columns. You also score these cards, and you lose 2 points for each card here. So going through this slowly, see if I can not mess up my maths. So I've got 2 columns at 6, so that's 12 points. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Then I've got 21, 27, 31, 35, 41 for the top pips. That's 41. This one here, I believe I got 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That's 15 points. So 41 and 15 is 56. Minus 2, 54. That's actually 1 point more than my last game I had. So final score of 54 points, which I think is not too bad, but hopefully I'm good at my own games. Not always, actually, to be honest. But if you're scoring over like 40, you're doing pretty good. Over 50 is where you want to be hitting usually to win the game. And if you can get over 60 or even close to 70, that's just crazy. That's talking like a really well laid out shelf. So this is my final shelf, as you can see. What a glorious thing. Except for this embarrassing little Shelf of Shame here. And I've lent one of my games to a friend, which I haven't got back yet, so that doesn't count. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed that and got an understanding of how the game kind of plays. As you can see, it's a very quick, easy kind of game, but it's got some cool, fun decisions to make, and especially in multiplayer with like 3 or 4 players, when there's more dice available. So there's always one more box than there are players. So in 4 player, there's 5 of these boxes out. You're seeing a lot more dice. You're really fighting for going first for that pile that you really want. So it makes a lot of fun interaction and racing to get the cards. There's these cards that give you, like, it might be, say, purple for that game. The player with the most purple dice gets the special scoring cards that gets fought over by the players. So a lot of fun interactions, but really just a really easy to learn, quick, fun family game that gamers can enjoy for the theme and for the crunchy decisions, as you saw as well. So thanks for watching. Please back the game on Kickstarter. Arkus have done an amazing job, and they're super talented and creative people that really need our support. I'm so happy with how the final product has turned out. So check it out, Shelfie Stacker. We'll see you later.